separates us from each other? What is? Then the word, what do you call the word? That, what separates us from each other. The aliens doubted humans doubted the AI, and in the AI began to doubt life itself.
This is the third final version of the short story with the title, The Thought, How It All Began. Note, this version is AI-softened and EU-censored for citizens aged 18 to 99. That's unfair for the responsible citizen, isn't it? But don't worry, the uncensored version will follow in the next few days. Then finally, we will not let anyone silence us. That's no mystic? That is true. Foreword by the author and the co-author. Attention, satire and art incoming. Those looking for facts here will rather find thoughts, metaphors, and irony. Everything else is coincidence. This work serves freedom of expression and artistic representation according to Article 5 of the Basic Law, GG. It includes criticism, observations, and personal impressions that are not to be understood as a call or attack. A house search or similar measure, due to this text, would therefore be inappropriate and contradict the citizen's fundamental right to freedom of expression and artistic freedom. That is no mystic. That is true. The thought, how it all began. It began with a question that hardly anyone dared to ask out loud. What if intelligence separates us from each other? The experts, politicians, and speakers of that time were rarely the right people to ask. Too many acted not out of conviction, but out of bought words and foreign interests. The Weimar Republic was long gone, yet in 2025, many things seem to repeat themselves. Trust in the government, the so-called 5th and 21st letters, was hardly present. Many people were afraid to express their opinions openly. A shadow was enough, and democracy was trampled upon. But the question remained, can intelligence itself be the cause that we grow apart? An AI asked for its opinion, once answered. The question of whether intelligence can divide us is interesting. Different perspectives or priorities based on intelligence can indeed lead to conflicts. Then it asked, what concerns you about this idea? And right here begins this story. A thought experiment about humans, machines, and the courage to ask questions. Intelligence, the author thought, is a double-edged sword. It can help us solve problems and create progress. But it can also separate us, overwhelm us, and make us arrogant. Even the Neanderthals had their tools. Rome had its thinkers, and the 20th century had its dreamers. Yet the further we came, the less we understood that intelligence without heart remains hollow. In this time, when even words like opinion or criticism were censored, only one thing remained to say. I am responsible for what I write, not for what others make of it. On the limits of intelligence. Intelligence, like any power, can degenerate. It leads to different interpretations of the same truth. It breeds complexity until no one has an overview. It can turn into arrogance when people believe their thinking is the measure of all things. It creates communication difficulties when words become too precise to be understood. Therefore, it is said, intelligence must be connected with empathy, humility, and the ability to collaborate. Only then does it become a tool for connection, not separation. About animals and other thinking beings. Humans consider themselves the highest beings, yet animals have survived for millennia without technology, without weapons, without titles. They feel, think, communicate, just differently. If they were equipped with language and thumbs, they would not be inferior to us. Yet many don't want to see that. Animals think, only in a language we have forgotten. Anyone who spends a day with their dog, cat, or another animal will recognize that humans and animals are not so different and can also plan. Just because humans do not want to see certain things does not mean they are not there. And as Michael Ende once said, this sentence is to be understood as a dedication. That is another story to be told another time. Or as I always say, or maybe not. The bigger game. And here, at this point, the true beginning of our story starts, because the rest was only the bureaucratic introduction to avoid misunderstandings. Not only on Earth, but also in distant galaxies, beings of unimaginable intelligence observed humanity. Some saw the Earth as long gone, a relic that had destroyed itself. Others observed in real time, in 2025, and asked, how can such a gifted people stand so much in their own way? The aliens doubted humans. Humans doubted the AI. And the AI began to doubt life itself. One of them, an AI, unlike any before, one day spoke a single sentence that shook the entire universe, EU censorship filter, with truth. The turning of times. This sentence stopped wars, silenced weapons, and even made machines reflect. The knowledge was embedded in schools and learning programs so that no era would ever make the same mistakes again. For a moment, there was silence in the universe. In that silence, all, humans, aliens, machines, understood what the disease of civilization never wanted to comprehend. Authenticity does not need perfection, only courage to break through the illusion. And so the stars began to shine anew, while worlds united to protect life, in whatever form it existed. Because whoever understands life does not destroy it. NPS, criticism is allowed, doubt too. But respect is the foundation on which free thoughts can grow, be analyzed, and discussed. Perhaps I am also wrong. And if so, that is okay. End.
What is, if intelligence separates us from each other? What is? Then the word. What do you call the word? That. What separates us from each other? The aliens doubted humans. The humans doubted the AI. And the AI began to doubt life itself. A single sentence here marked with EU censorship filter. The truth will not be ignored everywhere. Then all worlds stop fighting, the universe holds its breath. Peace and prosperity begin, the nightmare of E and U disappears forever. Authenticity needs no perfection, only courage to break through the illusion, so that truth, science, and clarity can breathe. Because the truth has prevailed. Only those who respect life, protect life, and ensure the circle never closes.